Hello and welcome back. It's time for me to show you what I've been making with some of my fabrics. Now you might remember in my video previously I showed you this lovely stripy poncheroma and I said that I wanted to make a 1960s style funnel necked cocoa. Well, as you can see, I've made that. However, since I filmed it, I watched the sewing bee, and the sewing bee on Monday night was all about cutting striped fabric on the bias and sewing it together to make a chevron top. So I thought, what better thing to do than make a chevron top to 1960s inspired funnel neck cocoa. So here she is. Do you want to have a look? So, absolutely fab. I love this. I'm going to get so much wear out of it. I decided to cut it full length in the end, so it was actually a little dress rather than just the top I'd originally planned. Because it's cut on the bias, it's obviously got a little bit more float in it than a normal cocoa would do, but it fits beautifully and I think it's quite slimming. What do you reckon? Now, to make this, all I did was take the regular cocoa pattern pieces, and instead of cutting the front piece on the fold, I placed it onto my fabric and I added 5/8 seam allowance down the centre front, and I cut one piece and then I cut the other piece. It did take a bit of chopping and changing, moving the pattern pieces around to try and work out exactly how it needed to be cut, and I do put my hands up and say I did get some help from my sewing buddy Elspeth, so thanks Elspeth. And she helped me line up the fabric and make sure it was 100% accurate before we cut it. It did take some time, but as you can see, it's well worth doing. Now, to get this perfect join, check out this. Check out the pattern matching. It's good, isn't it? To get that perfect join, what I did is I pinned it together really, really carefully. I pinned every single stripe all the way down. And then I basted it at 5/8 with a long basting stitch on my machine, checked it was okay, and then I went back and did the zigzag seam down the middle and turned it into one front pattern piece, just like you would then if you were making a regular cocoa. And then I just followed the regular instructions, stay stitching both the necklines, joining it at the shoulders. When I joined it at the shoulders, I did offset my shoulders ever so slightly because again I wanted to get a nice match. I'm quite pleased with both of those shoulder seams. So they were offset by about 1/4 of an inch to get those stripes to line up, but because it's a 5/8 seam allowance and I knew I was turning under the armholes and putting the neckline on, I didn't worry too much about that. So the funnel neck I just put on in the usual way. I made sure my stripes were going up and down rather than diagonally, just so that it looked nice. So you do have to think about finishing touches like that. The only thing I will say, by turning the armholes under, because they're obviously designed to have sleeves on normally, it's fine around the top here, but under the arm here it does flip up, and so I am going to go back and just put a couple of little hand stitches in. I might even use a bit of Wonder Web and just stick those down so they don't flip up, but it's nothing too disastrous. So I'm really, really pleased with this, to the point I've even cracked out the red lippy and the matching red nails. I was going to wear my red shoes as well, but they wouldn't fit into the camera screen when I had a look before I started filming. So it's a really nice outfit. I'm going to wear it tomorrow to my business networking meeting that I'm going to, and hopefully it will knock everybody's socks off. So I thought it's a really good idea to do a weekly video following the sewing bee from the week before, so that I can take something from each episode and go back to the studio and show you how I get on with it. So this was a really good example for week 1. Week 2 comes up tomorrow, so I'm filming this on Sunday afternoon, and it's Kids Week. So my daughter is a love of party dresses, so I'm going to have a little go. I've bought this gorgeous cherry fabric. I know for a fact that my mum might be purchasing her the new red cherry saltwater sandals for her birthday, so I thought this would be perfect to go with it. It's just a cotton, but it's got a nice little black and white polka spots on the back, and I thought I would do a bit of a mashup and try the geranium dress made by Ray bodice, which I've made lots and lots of times before for her, and then rather than put the regular skirt on, I'm going to use a skirt from one of my Simplicity patterns that's much fuller, so she can have a really nice full party dress. So I'm going to see how I get on with that next week. So I'll come back to you and report in on this week's sewing bee. Speaking of the sewing bee, this arrived. got my hands on the new book. I haven't even opened this yet. I'm going to sit down tonight with a nice G&T and have a really good read through it and decide what I'd like to make. I have seen the Palazzo Pant trousers reviewed by Elisa at So Over It, and they look gorgeous, so I could well be making those, but I'm going to have a look and see what else takes my fancy, and I'll do a little review on that book later on. So that's really all I've got to say. Other than the fact that I'm filming this on my new camera. So I'm hoping the light should be nice, the sound should be nice, and overall we get a much better video. So if you want to let me know what you think viewing it from your end, please feel free to comment below. For those of you who are interested, it's the Samsung NX Mini. And it's absolutely fabulous. Its little screen pops up onto the top of the camera so I can see exactly what I'm filming, and you get to see me on the other end, hopefully a lot clearer in your living rooms. So I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll be back soon with another vlog. Take care.